Okay, it's the weekend, guys. Let's get right into it with We Got Your Mail. Well, how do you send in a question, comment, or concern? Because we get a lot of complaints here at Talking Through the Medias, and we're going to talk about it right here on the show. So if you ever want to send in a comment, you can comment to us right here on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, and we will hit you up right here on We Got Your Mail. Let's have a little fun. And with Amy Newman, the one and only, with me today. Amy, how are you?
Amy Newman's. Have you seen my Twitter handle? It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so many of us.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome, though. Come on. You're great.
All right. So Madison Young, aka the Queen of Kink, in regards to the review of her show, Submission Possible, just saying thank you. So glad that you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. It was pretty interesting. There's a network that I didn't know existed. It was, I think it's about 2 or 3 years old. It's called Reverie. It's the tagline is it's queer television 24/7. So like for the LGBTQ community, it's original shows and movies on that streaming platform. So guys, go check out Reverie. And yeah, the TV show, the pilot, I think it was, I did a review for, called Submission Possible. It was so hard for me not to accidentally write Mission Impossible every time I was writing it into the blog. But it was a very interesting show. I think the first episode had it was set in New Orleans, so it got very mystical and very spiritual, and talking about people that are into certain kinds of kinky stuff and was it BDSM relationships and stuff like that. So it was like, oh yeah, 30 minutes well earned for me. So I enjoyed it. So, but I was surprised that when I shouted out that that gave my review, the host herself, she replied back, said thanks for the shout out. So thank you, Miss Queen of Kink.
We'll shout out your shout out. We'll keep shouting each other out all day. It's quarantine, baby. What else are we gonna do?
Woo!
All right, and then we got Movie Burners Entertainment slipping into our DMs, saying, "Hey, Chris, just to let you know." Sorry, if it's in a DM, I feel like it has to be. "Hey, Chris, just to let you know, we recorded a 7-minute video discussing our favorite Bruce Wayne." Oh yeah, so I assume there was an emoji involved. You don't slip into the DMs for anything good.
There was no emoji. So I've been talking with these guys. I'm going to have them featured. It won't be on this. I was hoping to have it done for this episode of. No, I'm sorry, for the last episode of Talking Through the Medias. So it should be on episode 137. There's going to be a time where we're going to have a message from that YouTube channel. So I'm going to record something for their show, and they're going to have something pre-recorded for our show. So just a heads up. So all you guys that are a fan of the Movie Burners, the entertainment, you guys are in for a treat. They're going to be right here on the channel. So look out for that. So
I guess.
So, but thanks for making it dirty, Amy. Was slipping in the DMs. How'd you know what was going on?
I got a sixth sense. I'm a woman on the internet. I know what's happening. Yeah. All right. Pop.culture sent us a message on Instagram asking, have you seen any films this year that could become Oscar contenders for better or worse? I don't know what that means. I guess the for worse would just be, I guess it's Trolls. We got no other movie.
Right. I thought about that too. That paused me. That was from our friend pop.culture.vulture. I'm sorry, I forgot to.
Pop.culture.vulture. I'm so sorry.
She forgot to put that in the vulture. Don't forget the vulture, Chris. But when she said for better or worse, I'm thinking, well, I would think that the worst wouldn't get an Oscar nod, but
it might this year.
Maybe. That's what I'm afraid of. That's probably why she's asking.
Yeah.
Are there any of the movies that stand out? Bad Boys for Life, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, 365 days.
Ooh. Make that happen. Well,
little Polish kidnapping erotica for anybody?
Best foreign film. If 365 gets the best It won't happen.
I'm trying to think because I feel like, yeah, there really hasn't even been Oscar buzz.
Well, I mean, it's July. I mean,
It's July.
we're not going to hear about.
That's true. I think it just depends a lot on like
I mean,
how the rest of the year shapes up. I just feel like right now I can't even imagine. I mean, I say that on a media chat show, but like I can't imagine the world being like, we need to be hyper fixated on like Oscar winning movie. There's just so much going on right now
in the world, yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Give it to Trolls. I'm ready for Trolls.
You're right. If now 360, I'm gonna have to force feed back to that topic. 300, because you mentioned it in your review. 365 DNI, best cinematography.
Cinematography is abs.
Is it possible?
Appropriately.
The way that reminds me of an old Martin Lawrence joke. The way that water was glistening all over your body. I'm sorry.
I mean, but yeah.
I was like, what was that, Chris? Water was glistening all over his body. God. I'm just saying, best water glistening scene. Oscar, please. What's the?
Just give them to old movies that didn't get an Oscar. They should have. They'll just be like, fuck it. Now it's La La Land. We're sorry about that one year.
Oh my God. Could you imagine somebody open the envelope and the winner for the best picture is 365 Day? Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'm like, oh my God, that's not funny.
We gave him a second one. We felt so bad. All right. Now we have the Buck Rogers 22. Apparently this is a whole internet beef I am not totally involved with. But Mecharandom42 is a baby who can't handle the heat. Period. She's been on a Twitter rant lately about Black Lives Matter and Jemima.
And the reason why I put an ellipsis there is because his comment went on a whole thing, and I had to call you up and kind of update you on. I've covered this YouTuber a couple times, and then I mean she's she's a toxic person who only covers the things that are going to get a lot of quick, support and click and trolling kind of a culture thing where it's like we're the real fans, and it was the whole Brie Larson is the C word, the B word, all because she made that comment about wanting to have more
B word, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, she goes.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a worse B word I didn't know. I wanted
all the B words and all the C words. I mean, because Brie Larson wanted to have more inclusivity and people who cover movies like outlets like this, like. We can. Why do we have to see the same, movie reviewers in every movie that we come to? Why can't we have more outlets? Like, if a movie's produced by a black director, has a mostly black cast, and this and that and the other, why are we still inviting the same big outlets? Why aren't we getting these other outlets whose audience might be more black? That's all she said. She said.
Yeah.
She didn't say let's take away seats from these critics. She said let's add more seats for these other critics so they can. And then everybody started attacking her. She doesn't like white people. And then this YouTuber was one of those people who did that. So I talked about her a couple times when she did these things, and then it became a whole thing. And the only reason why I said I wasn't going to bring her up anymore on this channel, but I also said that when you send a comment or a question into the channel that I would answer it. So there's a little history on it. And so I'll say this for hopefully the last time. So all the people out there who are my fellow social justice warriors who are just mad at this person for being this way, I cannot continue to, comments about Mecharandom42, even though I don't agree with her in her views, and constantly make these videos, even though these videos that I've made have gotten a lot of views. There are a lot of you who
Thanks for the clicks, babe.
There are a lot of you out there who want me to be the face of the movement against her. But if I do that, I will be becoming the thing that I'm criticizing. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was said on the Batman movie that Amy did not watch, where Harvey Dent said, "You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain." So I don't want to do that. I decided not to engage with Mecharandom42 anymore.
I'm proud.
But I also said that I am aware that these kind of videos do get clicks. I've admitted. I said if the YouTube gods were to come down right now and say, Chris, if you make Chris Hemsworth the focus of your hates and your energy, you are guaranteed 1 million subscribers in 3 weeks. Chris Hemsworth is fucking going down, man. But because the internet gods haven't, done that, then Chris is safe. I like Chris Hemsworth. I'm not going to betray Chris Hemsworth unless I get 100% verification that I will become internet famous for it. So, and that's what I feel like people like Mecharandom42 are doing. So anyway, that's the last time I won't do it. I won't mention it.
Hey, if people are just trolling though, don't let them live in your head for free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
we got bigger things to discuss, like JFS The Reviewer asking, do you believe with what is going on with the pandemic that this will hurt a lot of movie studios? And do you think if it continues, they may end up releasing their films online?
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, it's already happening with this new spike. So the theaters are about to open up.
Oh, there we go. Five Bloods. That's probably going to get some Oscar buzz.
Yeah, but that was released on Netflix though. But that was always intended for
figured out
for Netflix. But the movies that are, everybody was so hoping that the now that the movie theaters are scheduled to open up in July. What's the new one? Tenet is about to come. That's the biggest one that's going to be coming out first. One of the first ones, I mean. But now things are starting to spike again in my state, Texas. Huge spike.
California, we still haven't slowed down.
And California and Florida, everything is spiking again. So now I saved this question because everything was kind of going down. But now that it's spiking again, this question is now I don't know. Now, oh, you know what? I do know. I have an answer to this question. The SpongeBob movie was scheduled to come out on theaters. They just announced that they are going to release that movie on VOD. It was scheduled for later this summer or later this year. It was coming, and now they're like, no, we got to try to make some money out of this. They pulled the plug on it. So yeah, I'm expecting more and more major films to announce that they're going online, and I mean, sorry, to VOD. What about you? What do you think the movie theaters are open?
They might. It feels like a risky bet just based on what we know. So I feel like even if some of them do start taking that risk to reopen, which they are talking about doing, I don't know, because my brain says, of course, no one's going to go. But we've also seen.
Yeah. I'll sign up and stand in line in that mist machine for 3 days.
Yeah.
But
I do think, because even in California, we're talking, and who knows what'll end up happening, because I keep thinking like, well, this is logical, and then that doesn't happen. So, but I keep thinking, the governor has talked about potentially having to close some stuff back down. So I feel like just the more this turns into a game of like, maybe July, maybe August, maybe September, I feel like more and more movie companies are just going to go, it's not worth it. We'll just go on demand, since it's been proven that can be really successful if people are excited enough about the movie. Yeah. So I think we are going to see a shift to that. And then as far as just what it's going to do for the industry, I think it's going to be bleak for a while. I think we've talked before about how I feel like it's going to feel a lot like the writer's strike back in the day. And I don't think we've figured out what the like reality TV was to the writer's strike. I don't think we know what the answer is yet. They're talking little by little about, they've started laying out some precautions for opening, bigger film projects, but it's also going to make things incredibly costly to do. That's a ton more staff, a ton more, time, a ton more effort and energy and money. So I do think, unfortunately, until this is fixed, it's going to be damn near impossible and very expensive. You're going to have big projects that they can really put that extra money behind to keep making in the face of all this.
I agree. It's sad because some of these movies are too expensive. They spent way too much money for them to be able to make any kind of a significant profit on it if it goes to VOD. Like Wonder Woman 84, they hundreds of millions of dollars. There's no way they could. I mean, all these movies that have been coming out that were supposed to go to theaters, they've been selling them for like renting them out for like $19.99 or something, like $20, right? I'm not gonna spend $20 for. I know that I would spend more money taking my whole family to that movie. I know that, but that's the movie going experience, and that's a whole different thing. But I also know that I would probably watch that movie by myself, and I would only be spending like $10 or a little here and there. So I don't know. I just
it's such unprecedented times too. It's like
it's so weird.
You could tell me anything was going to happen at this point, and I'd be like, makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. I don't blame whatever decision that these the major ones, the major movies decide to do. I won't blame them either way. I'll be like, oh damn it, can't we just open up wait till it's time to go to the theaters? Can we just hold out for another couple of months? But then at the same time, they probably can't afford to. We can't have these major movies just sitting on the shelves. I mean, for various reasons, but the smaller ones, like your SpongeBob's, your cartoons, smaller, lower budget ones, yeah, they can survive it by going to VOD more than the other ones could. But $300 million to make your a movie.
Yeah, I wonder if some of them aren't just going to go, you know what? We'll wait till 2021, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to push.
That's what I would do. But no one called me. Oh, Hollywood, I have advice.
Yeah, listen to me. Right, what's next?
Yeah, up next we got Jimmy Kudo commenting on our Hartley Sawyers discussion, asking, are we going to ignore those other tweets where he said that Janine Tuganon looks like a donkey?
Yeah, let's ignore those. No, I was like, wow, because I said, well, I'm not gonna come back to something we covered a bunch of times on the show because we're now starting to get a lot more comments. But then I was like, okay, I don't know who the person is, so let me look this person up. I'm like, what, really? And I looked her up. Like, I think she's a pageant winner, right? She's a model and whatnot, and from the Philippines. I'm like, dude, really? And like the more and more, I didn't read all these tweets that he did.
Yeah.
And I was on the fence. Okay, I'm like, Warner Brothers. It was not about defending him. It was about Warner Brothers not being consistent. You have one person who did one thing, got fired from Disney, and then Warner Brothers hired. It did the exact same thing. It had past bad tweets. Then you had another person, another actor who physically, harmed a woman, and nothing happened to him at all. Then Hartley, past bad tweets, gets fired. So I was like, I'm just upset about the inconsistency. But then the more and more, for all we know, the producer might have been giving him a chance. Like, you know what? I'm not going to fire him for that. And then it's like, wait, he said what?
And that same guy who sent us a message, sent him a message like, what about?
Yeah, but what about this tweet? It's like, dude, I can't. For all we know, that's exactly what the producer did. He or she was probably like, we're not going to fire everybody for past tweets, and we already knew about them. And then they just started flooding in. Like, what about this comment? What about this comment? I read that he said something about that's very anti-Semitic. I was like, oh, dude, it was getting worse and worse and worse. So if you want to go down if you want to Google the list of things that he said, it's a lot. It is.
Or just like go sign some petitions or something. Like use that time for good.
I'm thinking, I was like, dude, Mr. Hartley, I hope you had fun on The Flash, man, because it's getting bad, mate. The sad thing about it is he was thinking, you know what? I'm getting turned down in all these auditions. I'm never gonna get hired, so screw it. I'm just gonna be me or something like that. Let me just be funny. and then bam, I got hired on the Flash. This is a dream come true. Well, I hope nobody ever finds out.
I literally spent a good hour or two last week, and I know where my heart's at, and I know the shit I say.
Mm-hmm.
And I still spent like 2 hours last week just going through my entire Twitter account. Like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to double check that when I first got a Twitter account in 2013, I didn't think it was going to be like edgy and funny. And I didn't, because like I said, I'm not that type of person. Like that's just, I don't think that shit's funny, and I never did. But I checked because I want a career, and I want to be in some degree of a spotlight where people might someday look at my shit. So if you want any degree of attention, I mean, A, don't say that shit. B, take 2 hours. It takes 2 hours max.
So here's the question: is because I know that if you're really famous, you tweet something bad, no matter whether it's good or bad, people are instantly screenshotting it just in case it's bad, and that person might.
But once you're famous, I mean, never say dumb shit. But many of these aren't about like they said this currently. So many like that, or the James Gunn.
Yeah, it's from the past. But here's my question: are these tweets surviving mainly because people are screenshotting them, or are people able to dig up deleted tweets that nobody ever screenshotted or something? I know there's a website where you can delete your whole Twitter account, where you give it your password, you can wipe your Twitter account clean, and then just start like it's brand new again. But do people have the ability to find deleted tweets, whether they were screenshot or not, just resurrect them?
Ooh,
I'm wondering if I wonder if that's
coming back to point A. Just don't be a shitty person. Yeah. Don't say like racist, mean, misogynistic bullshit, and you'll be fine.
That's true. And to all of you guys that can't help yourself, don't ever become famous, because
do some soul searching, because what the fuck?
Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man movie, the villain. I always quote the bad guy on these situations like this. People, more than people love a hero, they love to see a hero fall, die trying. So, I mean, people love it. They love the drama. So as much as they love you and praise you and build you up, if they find one thing, they will love trying to tear you apart even more.
Anger, right? Man, it's fucking addicting.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And on that cheerful note, we have exclusive TV responding to the Xbox disc player is broken. Video. Saying, you're the only YouTuber I found with the same system and same problem. Glad I found you. Aw.
Yeah, and I'm glad you found me.
Even in this little socially distanced world of ours.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you were glad to find our channel for that situation. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I did a video some years ago about my Xbox that I still love and praise to this day. Because PlayStation sucks. That the disk drive broke. Okay, now before you PlayStation guys just go, that never happens. It's been reported lately that for some weird reason, disk drives all over the world are starting to Blu-ray players are starting to break. I saw something on the news. It's weird. Like it's a weird thing that's happening to now that the Blu-ray is being discontinued. They're breaking now. So
I still got a Laserdisc player.
It's a weird thing. So he says that I'm one of the only. I think there was a couple of other people who also talked about that, but I was one of, if not the first, to talk about that problem. Luckily for me, my Xbox broke. I was a few days away from the warranty expiring because I looked for that receipt after I did that video. I had a couple of days left. I went straight to GameStop, replaced this shit now. Got a brand new Xbox. And I think he asked me if I'm still having any issues with that disk drive. I couldn't tell you because ever since that experience, I stopped buying discs. I just digitally download it. I haven't even used a disc in years. I couldn't tell you, man. It probably still works, but I don't own any more Blu-rays or DVDs. I don't buy the physical media anymore. It's okay, boomer. What do you got? A Blu-ray? Whatever. But no. But I'm sorry that happened to you guys, and we're almost to the next generation console anyway. So let's hope that Microsoft doesn't totally rip us off again this time around.
Yeah. Up next, we got Briawna Rose regarding the Marcella Season 3 recap. I'm never going to have to watch this show. I'm getting so much of it through you. Maybe the phone call was her family. Maybe her partner contacted them since he had such an obsession with her family having photos all over his hotel room.
Yeah, probably not. And for those of you who haven't watched the show, you're not going to know what she's talking about exactly.
Can I put my spoiler?
No, I'm not going to spoil it. All I'm going to say, I mean, this is just her speculating about a phone call. It has really nothing to do with anything. But I mean, until you have the whole experience, the phone call, a random phone call isn't going to mean anything to anybody. But just between me and you, Briawna, maybe I don't think so. But I mean, anything's possible. We don't have those answers yet. And if we get a season 4, well, I guess we will get those answers. I have my theory on who was on the other end of that phone. And I shared that, I think, on my ending explained video. But I'm looking forward to 2021, not just because 2020 sucked, but because I'm hoping that Netflix does me another solid and not have a recap of Marcella's season 3. Because, oh my God, I mean, that video, it already had like a couple thousand views. And then out of nowhere, I can never say this word right, analytics, just Anna just alerted me and was like, dude, people are loving your recap of Marcella season 2. And I'm like, why? And then when I started watching season 3, I'm like, where the hell is the recap? Oh, people don't have a choice but to watch The Moneymaker and listen to me ramble about that season because Netflix dropped the ball. All right. So let's hope they do that again. So we need to recap everything just in case there's no official recap. And then you can get your recap done right here. So
we all recaps all the time.
All recaps. Huh?
Next, we have Noatak on the reason why Avengers will top Avatar video, saying, what Endgame didn't make $3 billion? It only made, like Avatar, $2.7 billion. Please answer why Endgame didn't make $3 billion, even though you said it. Did we round up? Was that the issue?
I think I did a video about how I believe that Endgame was going to be the first movie to ever hit a $3 billion. And the way it started off, it looked like it was very possible. I mean, by the time it caught up to Avatar and beat Avatar, it slowed down to a crawl. It wasn't going to come nowhere near a billion. It's closer to $1 billion than Avatar is currently, but it's still a couple million away. So Noatak is a loyal follower of the channel who is obsessed with Avatar and Endgame and this whole thing. And I think I've dedicated a lot of We Got Your Mails to his question. But the reason why I can't explain the reason why it didn't make it to $1 billion, $3 billion, because it didn't, dude. I mean, it's just not. I mean, it's just. Noatak is very passionate about this movie making $3 billion. It's just not going to happen. I thought it's not just that I was
too many. Here's what happened: a few too many kids stacked up 3 high in a trench coat and only bought 1 ticket.
Oh, exactly.
And if they had bought 3 tickets,
$3 billion. But so I didn't say. I hope you're not wondering why it didn't make $3 billion when I guaranteed it would. No, I was more hopeful that it would. I felt during the time with the data that I had at the time with that huge launch that it was probably going to make $3 billion. And then when the data changed, I was like, not so much. But oh, dude, it's Avatar. I'm now starting to believe that Avatar is going to be re-released, and then it'll take the #1 spot, and then Endgame is going to be re-released, and then it'll take the #1 spot back, but it won't. It's so far away from $3 billion. It could be re-released 10 times in the next 50, 60, 100 years. It still won't reach. Maybe with inflation, but it won't reach. It won't reach that $3 billion mark. It's just not going to happen. If there's a movie that's going to hit the $3 billion mark, it's going to be a totally different movie. But it's not going to be any of those two. So sorry. I mean, if I built you up to believe in something and I crushed your dream, I'm sorry, but you know, I mean, you should have bought more tickets, dude. That's your fault.
Take it out on the children in the trench coats. And finally, we have BTC Crow on the 365 DNI review, because I just can't stop talking about this one.
Please keep bringing more questions about this.
Reliving that movie. Though I feel this. My wife and I watched this thinking it would be a fun, steamy romance movie, but it left us cringing the whole time. We basically Mystery Science Theatered. Wonderful verb use there. And that made it enjoyable. It didn't feel at all like this could have been written by a woman, and more like what a narcissistic man would think a woman's fantasy would be.
The floor is yours, Amy.
I just enjoy it. I'm glad I'm not the only one who uses Mystery Science Theater as a verb. That was key.
In the not too distant future.
I've been watching a lot of that recently. Just comfort food for me.
But you agree that so this movie was written by a woman?
It's based much. I feel like it's, again, it feels like 50 Shades of Grey to me. It was written by, and she even said she was inspired by it. The novel was written by a woman, and then the script, it was one of those scripts that had like 4 people who worked on it. I want to say 2 women, 2 men, but the original novelist did work on the script adaptation. I think I blocked a lot of that experience out, but that's what I remember it being. But yes, the original story was written by a woman, which, as I said, comes down to a really odd, and it's one argument I feel like, I forget her name, and I'm sorry, but the woman who was really kind of angry about how much I didn't like the movie, one of her arguments that I saw her making on Twitter, which I do understand to some extent, is like, this is written by a woman, it was made for women, don't yuck my yum, essentially.
Shouldn't you have loved it because it was written by a woman, don't you?
No, but it does create an interesting discussion of like, how do we tackle making art, and especially making erotica, about topics that are touchy and are uncomfortable and can lead people down a dark path if there's any sort of normalization of it. But for some people, that is a kink. That is a turn on. The idea of like being in that submissive position or having someone who has that power over you is attractive. So I do think that is a fair, and yeah, I agree. To me, it's not something that that felt female created in the way I would typically imagine a female created erotica, but that also doesn't invalidate, like, well, this did it for her. Apparently she felt what she was writing. So yeah, again, that's a topic I'm probably not smart enough to really answer, but I'm glad I'm not the only one who got at least some laughs out of that movie. I highly recommend, if you're going to watch it.
Well, if you're telling me to do
maybe a partner and Mystery Science Theater, your heart out, because it is not good, but it is entertaining.
If you're telling me to Mystery Science Theater this that movie, then yes, I'm all about that. Then I guess if I sit down and take it and like that, maybe I can stomach through it. I had the house to myself. I had time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this movie just for the experience. And then the second I turned on Netflix and I thought, am I really going to watch this movie? I didn't. I didn't. Even I had all the time in the world and I could have just knocked it out. And I was like, no, I just couldn't do it. Yeah. After all these different reviews about it, I'm like, no.
But you do it instead.
But now, I'm like, okay, now if it's something that I could like with that Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of mentality and just kind of make fun of it, I could probably approach it that way.
Or don't. There's a lot of good movies out there that you can
watch. No, I made you a promise. I promised you that I would watch this movie. So I'm going to have to embark and just for the culture. It's for the culture.
Have fun.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, that's the show. Thank you guys for sending in those comments. Like we say, anytime you guys want to send a question, comment, or concern, you want to rant about a little bit. Between me and Amy, we know a lot about a little and a little about a lot of things. But what we do know is we like to have fun with all these comments. So we try to get to them all, especially if it's something that we haven't tackled before. Right here on We Got Your Mail every week. Like I said, hit us up at T3 Medias on social media, Facebook, Twitters, all the social medias. And or if you want to talk to me directly, you can always find me at Chris Fagan 1980. Miss Amy, yes. Would you prefer that they send your questions directly to you, or do you only prefer them to send if they're about 365, send them to T3 Medias. But if there's like you're doing awesome. Where can they find you online?
You just want to personally compliment me, by all means. My Venmo is my OnlyFans. No, my
so don't start that rumor because that's they'll believe it.
Hey, no shame, make that money. My Instagram, I got distracted. I was like, what am I on? My Instagram is at amy.n.newman. My Twitter is at amy_n_Newman. That's it. My Venmo is amy-newman-14 if anybody wanted to know that one.
At T3 Media, just send money, please. So,
if you have questions, I'll answer them even faster.
If you got questions.
Times are hard.
At money sign T3 Medias at Cash App. I got answers. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And until next time, guys, see you.
So unbelievably funny. Like one of those people you just obviously he's hilarious, but I feel like he's been in so much good stuff, and growing up on Seinfeld, you kind of take for granted just how funny he is, and to sort of be the standout funny on one of the funniest sitcoms of all time.